You know that feeling, right? That moment just before a big presentation or a job interview, when your heart starts hammering against your ribs, your palms get all sweaty, and your mind just goes completely blank. We've all been there. Welcome to Smiling Cottage. And the reason I'm sharing this today is because for so long we've been told that feeling is the enemy. It's something that we need to fix, or medicate, or just get rid of. But what if that whole approach is completely backward? What if fighting our anxiety is the very thing that's making it 100 times worse? This is something I call the anxiety trap. And here's a secret. The trap isn't the anxiety itself. No, the real problem is how desperately we try to shut it down. Let me just show you what I mean. It always starts small, doesn't it? Just a little flutter of worry. This little cloud of unease that pops up. It's a totally normal human feeling. But our first instinct, almost every single time, is to declare war on it. We immediately start telling ourselves things like, I shouldn't feel this way, or just calm down right now. We try to suppress it, to wrestle it into submission. And this reaction, this very act of fighting it, well, that's exactly where the trap is sprung. Because see, when you treat your anxiety like an enemy, you kick off this awful, vicious cycle. First, you feel anxious, and then you start feeling anxious about feeling anxious. It's called secondary anxiety, and it is an absolute death spiral. The more you fight the feeling, the bigger and stronger it gets, until that tiny little cloud becomes a massive storm that just swallows you whole. So how in the world do we get out of this trap? Well, it all starts with thinking about anxiety in a completely new way. Let me tell you a quick story. It's about some burnt toast and a ridiculously sensitive alarm. So back in 2019, there was this family in England who, well, they accidentally burnt a piece of toast. It got a little smoky in the kitchen, no big deal. But then the smoke alarm went off, and it was loud. So loud, in fact, that the family completely panicked and called the fire department. And within just a few minutes, you've got 3 fire trucks, sirens blaring, screaming down their quiet little street. Now here is the most important part of the whole story. When the homeowner was interviewed later, he said his first impulse wasn't to check for a fire. His first thought was, and I quote, "I nearly ripped the alarm off the ceiling." And that is exactly how most of us treat our own anxiety. We try to kill the alarm instead of just listening to the message. This brings us to this brilliant idea from evolutionary psychologist Randolph Nesse. It's called the smoke detector principle. See, deep inside your brain, you have your very own smoke alarm. It's called the amygdala. It evolved way back on the savannah, where having a false alarm, mistaking the wind in the grass for a predator, was a much, much better survival strategy than missing a real threat, like an actual lion. So your brain is literally hardwired to be overly sensitive. That overreaction you feel, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It's the entire point of the design. So, next time that internal alarm starts blaring, you have a choice. You can freak out and assume the whole house is burning down, or you can just pause for a second and go investigate. The old way is that knee-jerk panic response. The alarm sounds, you immediately assume it's a 5-alarm fire, and down you go into that death spiral we talked about. But the new path is the investigate response. You hear the alarm, but instead of panicking, you just ask yourself, okay, hang on, let me check. Is this a real fire, or is this just some burnt toast? That tiny little pause, that is the entire foundation of emotional regulation. This always makes me think of the profound words of Viktor Frankl. He realized that even in the unimaginable horror of a concentration camp, the one thing that nobody could ever take from him was the freedom to choose his response. And if he could find that space between what was happening and how he responded in those conditions, surely we can find it when our own internal alarm goes off. Okay, so this all sounds good in theory, right? But how do we actually do it? How do we create that space? Well, it comes down to a really simple but powerful practice that you can use the very next time you feel that anxiety alarm start to ring. It's just 3 little steps. First, instead of saying, "I'm so anxious," just state the fact. The alarm went off. This one phrase immediately creates distance. You are not an anxious person, you're a person whose alarm system is currently ringing. Second, ask the question, is this a real fire or is this burnt toast? And third, get curious. Ask, what is it trying to tell me? Maybe your racing heart isn't the enemy at all. Maybe it's a messenger just telling you that what you're about to do really matters to you. When you start using this little practice, something fundamental begins to shift. Your anxiety stops being this enemy that you have to defeat, and it starts to become an ally, a messenger that you can actually learn from. The security expert Gavin DeBecker put it perfectly.
True fear, or in our case, useful anxiety, is a gift. It's your system saying, hey, pay attention to this. But unwarranted fear, that panic about the anxiety itself, is a curse. It just spins you around in circles. The whole game is just learning to tell the difference. Now, it's really, really important to draw a clear line here. This whole approach is for that everyday, burnt toast kind of anxiety. Work pressure, social jitters, that feeling before a big test. But if your anxiety is persistent, if it's severe, if it's stopping you from living your life, that might not be burnt toast. That could be a real fire, and that's a clear signal to seek out professional help from a therapist or a doctor. And if that's you, please know you are so far from alone. About 7% of people all around the world will experience a clinical anxiety disorder at some point. Recognizing a real fire and getting the right support isn't a weakness. It is the absolute smartest and strongest thing you can do. So the next time that alarm goes off, instead of automatically fighting it, I want you to try something different. Get curious, pause, and just listen. What is your anxiety really trying to tell you? The answer might just change your relationship with it forever. All right, that's a wrap for this episode. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who needs it. This is Smiling Cottage. See you next time.